All right, this is a 5-minute video on how YoDeck works for signage. Basically, we have a Raspberry Pi, which is a project-based little computer with an SD card in it. An operating system has been put on this SD card from YoDeck.com, and in it is a bunch of files, one of them being settings.txt. This Raspberry Pi runs its operating system from that SD card and also connects to HDMI to the TV to output its display. It's connected to the network either through wired or wireless, and we have ours connected through wireless. And every time it boots up, it goes out to app.yodeck.com and pulls down the configuration that you have up there. So if you do edit anything on the SD card, the next time you boot it, it will use those settings. And once it makes a connection, let's just say you set the wireless to be connected, and you put the wireless information in here. The next time it boots, it will use that wireless, be able to make the connection, but once it gets the connection, it goes to app.yodeck.com and downloads whatever that says the settings should be and overwrites what you put on the card manually. So obviously, if you go and change the wireless, you can take this, put it in a computer, edit with Notepad, put the new wireless settings in there. But before you power it up, you might want to go into app.yodeck.com as well and edit the Wi-Fi settings there. So they'll stay every time the thing boots. All right, so let's take a look. Now to get there, let me just shrink this down a little bit. You can get to YoDeck.com or www.yodeck.com. The actual site you want to go to is app.yodeck.com, but if you just go to YoDeck.com and click this little 3 lines up the top right, you'll see the sign-in page. The login is Tim Petro at Errol's, and I'll give you the password. And you guys can change that however you want. This is a free account, gives you access to 1 device. Okay, if you want 2 devices, you're either going to pay them or you're going to get 2 free accounts. So when we get up here, we get a dashboard. Now, the dashboard basically shows us how many online monitors we have. A monitor is the little Raspberry Pis, this little thing that we have, and that's all it is. And they're considered monitors because they drive the TVs. So we just have one, it's online, it's okay. The way things are broken down on the left here for data is these first 2 icons under dashboard, widgets and media, allow you to create contents. So images or pictures, and you're going to want to make sure you size them correctly so they look good on the screen. Videos, obviously are videos. PDFs are documents if you are going to display a document. And you can actually choose web pages to show as well if there's something that you want up there. Now, widgets are the 5th type of media type, and what they are customizable and programmatic type of things. For example, on my display, if I wanted to show pictures, but in the top left, I wanted a little square box that pulls the current weather, I could do that through creating a widget. And I'd have to know all the URLs and links to do that, but it's not too difficult to do. So you're bringing in a feed. So these are all the different types of things you can show on a screen. Now a playlist, if we go to playlist, and I'm going to take this one here and edit it. And it tells you this one has both pictures and a movie in it. So I'm going to hit the edit icon here. And you can see basically it's a drag and drop type of thing. You give it a name and description. If you're going to have something not sized right, you want the black gap on. Or I think it's actually when it does transitions between the two. And down the bottom, you'll see those items we talked about. Images, videos, PDFs, web pages, widgets, and all. You can just show them all. And you can drag and drop items onto your screen. I actually checked online with somebody on one of the forums, and they say typically it's not a great place to, because it's not a great place to store too much media, so you want to just upload and keep what you need. I'm going to turn on folder view so you can see a type of thing. And what I do recommend is that you can create some folders here in the base folder. And if you go to that folder view, you can see add image, add multiple images, add a folder. So we can do a folder and we can call it KOC. And maybe that's where you put the KOC's image, okay? Maybe we add another folder there. We'll edit or wash for their stuff. So you can keep the media separate, okay? You can do the same for videos, if you go to folder view again, and you'll see the folders are the same, so we can keep things in folder view. You can see the folders are organized. So I'll switch out of folder view for now, and you can actually see some of the images. All right, you can edit the images here, which really is just the name and description. Or if you want to swap the image out, you can do that, or just upload another one. But basically, these are your resources. Now, we also go to widget, not widgets. Well, I'll show you widgets. Let's go ahead and add a widget. And basically, you can see a ticker, rich text, an analog clock, weather hourly. So they have some predefined ones here. So I could say I want to show the weather, and I'll do local weather. And I'll say remove the backdrop. The background color will be transparent. We'll do Fahrenheit, location, and then you would have to get your location information. Let me just open this up. So I'm going to go to AccuWeather.com, select fixed location option, put the desired location and grab the code. So I'm going to go fixed location, choose a location, Berkeley. Let's just put Hilltown. Hilltown Township. And widget size, we'll leave it medium. Default units. I agree. Grab the code. And we're looking for, hold on one second. In the pop-up, the source code, search for data and location key and copy the number without the quote. So we need the number. So data and location key, and there's our number. This is why it takes a little bit more effort to do this, but I can actually put that there and save it. And I've created a widget, okay? And that says hourly weather. So kind of cool. Now, we have this media. We're going to do a playlist. Now, what a playlist really is organization of some media, okay? So, for example, you can kind of think of it like a commercial. Commercial would be, 30 seconds of what I want to show. So you can actually organize these however you want, but remember that you're going to be inserting these into schedules here, and you can put 2 hours of this one, an hour of this one, 5 minutes or whatever of this one. So these are almost like shows or TV shows or commercials. These are more playlists, and you're going to see where shows allow us to do a little bit more with the actual playlist before we shove the shows into schedules. So I'll just open one here, and I think we showed you this. This one it does show the media down the bottom. You can either view the individual type of item, like I just want to see widgets, and boom, there's my widget. And drag it to show somewhere. I'm not gonna put it there. We're not gonna change it, but and then you can tell the duration. You can edit the duration. You can open it up, see what it's going to look like. I don't know why that's showing up there, but you can tell it to fill the black gaps. So this is basically a playlist. Now we get down to shows. Shows are settings for playlists. So let me add a show. All right. So on this show, I'm just going to go sample show. I'm going to leave this on. And it says layering, drag to sort. So I can actually choose my playlists and say I want waterfalls on here, and I want to crop it. I'll enable transparency, and I'll hit OK. And I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to add, you can actually see how small that is on this 16 by 9 screen. So when you format your media, if it comes up this size, it means that it's real size. If you stretch it, it's going to look like it was stretched. It's going to look grainy. So I'm going to add playlists here. We're going to add the whatever close sign. We'll add that here. And we put that down here. And that's what your show would look like. Now, obviously, if you wanted to be able to drag and drop your weather app somewhere, you would have to actually make that its own playlist. Or you could just grab it from here. So I can actually grab an individual item and drag that right there. So again, what you want to do is up to you. Some other settings you have down here is to adjust, layering, which one's on top of which down here. So if I do overlap them like this, if local weather is set to transparent, and if I hit this gear here, you can see the transparency, okay, you'll be able to see through it to the other images. So you can play around with this, so to speak, and then you would save it. I'm not going to save this one. So we go back to where it shows, and we have some examples here that they gave us. Then you go to your schedules. Now schedules are exactly that. They're selecting shows and when to put them on. So if we added a schedule, you can see the list of shows that you have over here, and you can actually drag them and drop them on, okay? And you can tell it how often to run, when to run, time of day, down to the minute, to repeat, how often to repeat. So if you have stuff that you're going to schedule once, you do it that way. If you have stuff you're going to schedule 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then you're going to probably want to use like a prefabbed one, like the 24/7 show right now. This one's already been created, so you can see I can just keep going through time, and it's already set up for me. I don't have to do all that work. The 24/7 show, if you see here, it's showing the simple show though. So you have to know which ones you want to play. Finally, there's the monitor, and this is probably the most important piece. You see our monitor. I called it Olash NorthX. It's not really set with an assigned schedule right now, so I'm going to go into Actions and edit it. And when you get in here, you can see what's on the monitor right now. As long as this will update every time it shows it to you. And these are the settings that are important. For the most part, the most important are the basic and the wireless, these two tabs. So basic tells it, a name. Tags are good for searching, but you don't have thousands of these. Like, let's say that you had some in PA and some in New Jersey and some in New York, and you had 1,000 of these. You could put NY in there, and then when you need to search for the monitor, you can search for the NY tag. But the registration code is only used when you're turning a new one on for the first time. Because when you boot it the first time, it shows you on the screen a code, and then you put the code in here, and then it becomes one of your monitors. The scheduled playback, right now this has no scheduled playback, so it's not playing a show that's on the schedule. It's empty. It means it's going to play something all the time. If you put it on empty, it's going to play whatever you put into default show. Okay? So it only uses default show if this is set to empty. If this is set to anything else, it's going to play whatever that schedule tells it to. So you're going to want to set up schedules that way. Orientation should stay that way, and the rest of this stays as default. What you want to do is always make sure that this page is set correctly as far as the wireless name, the password, and it's probably always going to be WPA, WPA2. And you have to check this box if it's hidden. So this correlates to the settings.txt file that we talked about that's on the micro SD. So every time it boots, it'll download this page behind us and write it to the settings.txt file. So it's something we have to be aware of, okay? That's basically how it works. You can have fun and get it set up and start trying some different things. I recommend that we kind of consider some images that are appropriate for this size monitor since it's so big, and the images that they gave us, the media, for example, this image that you're looking at was, I don't know which flowers that was, but these are not big images, I don't think. The way we could do that is if I go to do a show, and I add a show, and I go to the media, and I just want to see, I want to add media direct, and I want to, let's just drag the flowers on there and see how big they are. See how small they are? So when you stretch these like this, that's why they're going to get grainy. So it's something to consider. I mean, your reference resolution, you're running 16:9, you have to know what the resolution of that screen is. So right now, one of the funny things about this setup is that this thing, if I go into the online, into the edit, and I can see, under advanced, no, status. It is not able to detect the capabilities of the monitor for one reason or another. I don't know why, but they said when you do this, and it comes up as 640 by 480, that's really bad resolution. You need to possibly modify the settings.config or the config.txt file on the SD card to set it at what the monitor resolution should be, because by default when it boots up it tries to figure it out through the HDMI cable, but it's not getting it. So we're going to want to tweak that over the next couple weeks to see how we can get it working the best that we can get it. So you get better resolution out of it. So some of these aren't editable fields here. However, under advanced there is a way to allow directives in the config file right here. So we can try overriding some of the resolution settings. Screen resolution from YoDeck that says, sometimes the preferred resolution can't be resolved. So you have to allow Raspberry override on, and in the override, Raspberry override directives area, you have to enter two advanced parameters, HDMI group and HDMI mode. And they have settings down here. If you want to go 1080 by 50 hertz, you would put these two entries, and you would copy these, and we would go into, where are we here, and we put them in here, okay, and then save it, and then the device you could actually push again to this monitor, and it would get it and reboot it. But you have to be standing at the monitor to see if it actually looks better or worse. So I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not standing at the monitor, but we did notice these images were kind of grainy. So let me see. So that was this section. We're not using a standard TV resolution, but here are some of the common modes they talk about. So that monitor definitely does 1080p or 1080i, one of the two. And we need to find out the hertz rating, and then you need to modify this last parameter here, 31, to be one of these numbers until we get the screen working correctly. Okay, but that's your overview of YoDeck, and it's pretty cool. It's free. You can push here, or when you push here when you do changes, and if you push here, it'll say, are you sure you want to do this? Actually, let me get off the screen because so if I push here, if you had 100 players, it's going to push the configs to all of them. We only have one, so it doesn't matter. But hopefully you get the idea, and let's see what you can do with it. All right. Thanks for watching.